Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the work session for today. First, we have old business on the agenda to discuss the final reading of ordinance amendment request for case number 2024-Rs and Robert-04, Two Little Hands Community Development Director and City Manager.
Yes, sir. So no changes have been made since last month. The application is for an amendment request to a zoning condition that was placed on this annexation in rezoning in 2024-R04. The condition states special events that are not related to agritourism, such as concerts and weddings, must be approved by the city council and the police chief. Ball Ground Police Chief shall review said application and determine if there are additional needs, such as hiring of off-duty police officers for the event. A special event shall mean any non-routine limited duration activity or gathering that brings a group of people together for a specific purpose, often requiring planning and potentially impacting public resources or areas.
Okay, any discussion on it, on this project?
Yeah, just to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Any special event such as a wedding or whatever, that will, once this is approved, this will no longer have to go through special permit, special for the city.
Yes, ma'am. This one was, the way it was phrased, stated that he had to get specific approval by council for each event that was coming up, which is kind of the way that we recommended removal of this condition for that reason.
Event that would be having alcohol at it, would they
Yes,
have
ma'am.
to get a permit for that and have officers for extra duty details?
No, ma'am. The way that these locations, such as the Wheeler House, they have outside vendors that come in, and the outside vendors have their own alcohol permits through the state and provide the permits through that portion. If they were serving it themselves, that's where they would have to get an alcohol permit.
Okay. Or if somebody, whoever's having the function wanted to bring it in themselves, correct? Not just.
They would have their own. Normally, they would outsource a vendor for it.
Okay.
Just curious, and does anybody monitor those
Monitor.
Wheeler House or if there's?
Chief does. His guys.
We do. Wheeler House is very good because a lot of times they do places, well, their insurance companies require an officer to be present anytime alcohol served. So they're not paying anything extra. They add it to the tab of the wedding party, and we are there. They give us a schedule probably every 3 or 4 months because they're booked out for a year. So we know about every 90, 120 days what weddings are coming up, which ones have alcohol. If it doesn't have alcohol, we don't go. There's no need. So yes, the facilities have learned that their insurance companies will give them a break on a discount that they pay if they always have an officer anytime alcohol is being served. So it's a win-win. It helps the community, and it also lowers their insurance.
Well, I'm just kind of curious, not to say that anybody's doing anything wrong or anything like that. It's just that if it's not as, it's not going to be an event that serves alcohol, who's to say that it does? Is it without an officer just coming?
Well, I don't think the Wheeler House will put their reputation and their business license on the line.
But I'm just
You could have
curious.
somebody sneak something in with a flask, of course, but even if somebody tried to, like, go to Sam's and buy their own beer and wine and bring it, Wheeler House is not gonna let them, you gotta have somebody with a license to pour it.
Gotcha.
And that's what gets them. So, again, the places that you're having these weddings at are pretty, reputable, and they don't wanna put their business license or their insurance in jeopardy, so that doesn't happen. And oftentimes, they will come to us and say, hey, I cut that person off, I'm letting you know in case they get a little boisterous with us, or they're angry, we've cut them off. So they do a really good job of policing themselves, and we are there for show, to let people know that you're not going, this is a wedding, this is not a frat party, and we don't let them drive. We've had to take keys, and we've had to be the peacemaker to get these people to understand there's more to your life.
And so you guys will also be doing it, as Two Little Hands.
Yeah, and
their special
And
events.
Briggs has talked to me, and he actually
Only with
wants that.
alcohol.
Yeah, he wants that. He even said if it's a large event and it's gonna impact traffic, he's gonna have us come out. So that was one of his things that he wanted to tell me at the very beginning, I plan to do this with you guys. And that's how I did that.
I'm
On
just
the,
curious.
on the bottom, it says the ordinance shall become effective July 16th, 30 days after approval by the mayor and city council. That would actually be August 8th, I think, since there's 31 days in July.
That might have been from when it was approved previously. Since this is a zoning change, Georgia zoning procedure law requires it to go into effect the first of the month following adoption. Now, this is the second reading, So it would be August 1st when it would go into effect. And we would record it as a amendment change to the zoning conditions.
Any other discussion? We're good for the agenda? Okay. Next item for discussion, discuss possible demolition of 120, 140 Valley Street house. Mr. Rogers.
Yes, sir. At last month's meeting, the demolition of the house at 140 Valley Street was tabled. Since then, I believe the council and staff have heard from the one city resident who had requested to postpone this decision, and since he has rescinded his statement on wanting to postpone this decision. Should the city decide to move forward with the demolition of the home, the cost of demolition, grading, installation of gravel, and curbing for the property would be roughly $43,000. Renovations, however, would cost in the ballpark of $250,000 to $300,000. The home has no insulation. The crawl space needs to be encapsulated, and the home needs new wiring. And that's just at a minimum to make it a usable piece of property. We still have $53,000 in escrow for this home from the purchase of the property that we could use towards the demolition of the house.
I do have a question. Since the one area is gonna be left as green space.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we demo that, that little area that's already concreted for parking, is that gonna be tore up too?
Yes, ma'am. It will be torn up and it'll become a gravel lot.
Would it behoove us, rather than putting all the gravel down right now, because we're not jumping into anything quick, that we just let it stay green space, so it's easier to mow, maintain, than having the weeds come up in the gravel and, you know, having to spray it or weed whack it, or
So are you
just a thought, just,
thinking of keeping,
and just clean up the property so it looks good and looks nice and kind of keep it, you know, I mean, even
Sure.
with whatever, when the weather gets a little cooler, you can throw some seed down there.
Mhm.
And maybe something will take, I don't know, but
so the demo cost for the home just for the demolition is about $21,000. Something else I needed to add in here, lead and asbestos testing has been done. There's no lead and asbestos in the home, so we have no worries about remediation in those regards. If we were to do that and just kind of leave that green space in the back there, we could leave it as concrete and just pay for the demolition cost as of now. I know that the contractor has offered a $1,000 discount if we do it all at the same time. So it really just depends on which direction y'all want to go.
it was just a, you know, just a thought that maybe just leave it all green space until the time comes, but just, I mean, not only the house there's some other junk behind it that needs to be cleaned up and taken out.
And most of that has been cleaned up. As of now, most of that area has been cleaned up. It's still kind of growing up in grass right now,
Right.
but we could clean that up and have it part of the cutting schedule for the rest of the property.
Yeah, and just have it just look nice,
I
just.
think I'd be open to that plan as well.
Okay.
Not a rush to get that
Yeah.
done, so spending money, keeping money in the bank before
It's an interest.
dropping a bunch of cash into something that really isn't a true necessity at that
Right.
time. And I was part of it, had us whole, we did meet, you know, I did meet with the people that were, whatever they wanted to talk about the alternatives. And after our meeting last month, right after it, they said, oh, that's all, they understood what was, I thought they understood at the beginning, but they understood, so they were okay with moving forward on that, so I support.
I'm all for, demolishing the house and keep it as, for right now, because we're not in a hurry. We've already signed the leases for the rentals on the parking lot, so right now, there's not a big rush, and why not just keep it as green space right now? Forget the gravel, and just do that.
Just another follow-up question. On the property, Tony, you might have pointed out too, there was a couple dead trees.
Yes, sir.
So getting those removed when they do the house,
Yes.
I would advise that.
We can definitely look into that.
Green space for a festival or something over there.
Yes, there's definitely one large tree that needs to be addressed. It has a hole going through the middle of it. We've had an arborist come out and look at it and tell us it's time to go. He said most of the other ones are actually pretty healthy. some of them might not be
There's one
aesthetic,
that's-
but,
It's a real small tree. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not big, but it's half dead and half alive.
okay.
And like I said, it's just like take a chainsaw and let it fall over. I mean, it's maybe 8 foot tall. It's just.
That's something our guys can clean up,
Oh,
with no problem,
easily,
so.
Easily, yeah,
But to get the tree removal in here, we'll outsource that.
right, right.
Okay, so we're gonna put this on the agenda to vote for demolition. All right. Item C, discuss establishing the FY 2027 millage rate. Barbara?
Yes, sir. So in 2025, the city's millage rate was set at 4 mills. After receiving and reviewing the tax digest from Cherokee County's tax office, we are proposing a millage rate rollback to 3.955 mills. By adopting the rollback rate, the city is essentially keeping the tax burden on existing properties as close as possible to last year's level, while still allowing the tax digest to grow through new construction, new development, and other additions that come into the tax base. In other words, the city continues to benefit from growth, but existing property owners are not paying higher city taxes solely because their property value has increased. And in the slide here, you can see some examples that I've provided these are just ballpark numbers of adjusted FMV value, which is full market value, what the net assessment would be of that home, and what the proposed millage rate would be compared to last year's millage rate.
Okay, what, the budget that we just passed?
Yes, ma'am.
For the next year, was that based on the 3.9?
Yes, ma'am.
55 mills? And the budget was, close to 9?
A little over 9.
Okay. No,
With T-Splost and everything, I think it was like right at 9.1.
okay, okay. And then that also gives us extra money in the general fund in case, for a rainy day, that kind of thing. I think it was a couple million in there, wasn't it? For the city?
For which
On our
part?
budget.
It,
Wasn't that much?
it's not that much in there. No, ma'am. Yeah.
How much do you know?
I do not know that number off the top of my head. No.
It was. Wasn't it just a little over 100,000?
Oh, okay, maybe so. That's kind of close, 100,000, and that's it.
Yes, ma'am. For reference, you can see a adjusted rate for a house at 500,000. Last year, they would have paid 800 to city taxes. This year, with the proposed rate of 3.955, they would be paying $791 for a saving of $9 for the house for the year in city taxes only. This is just for city taxes, not for the county or anything else.
What was on page 1, Chris?
It says, the budget provides for increasing our reserve fund by $53,862, as well as allocates $73,600 to the contingency line for unexpected expenditures or capital project the city chooses to invest in during the fiscal year.
I mean, I'm all for decreasing the millage rate, but I'm also, that's not much money in reserve, in case the city needs something, but,
We do have some reserves already. That's just in addition to our current reserves. Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Okay, so there'll be one more discussion of this at the meeting next week, and that'll be it.
I believe so. I'm waiting to hear back from the tax assessors now. They sent us their list of parcels for recommendation and like for us to review to make sure that we had the same tax base. We sent it back with a couple of questions to them. I'm not sure if they're out of the office this week, being a holiday week, or if they are waiting to get back to me. And I should be hearing back more from them next week, if not the week after.
Question, since the county was like a $20 million shortfall,
Mhm.
do you know what their rates are gonna mean to our city residents?
They have not shared their rates with us yet. They do have a meeting next week for the Board of Commissioners on July 7th. I have not heard what their rates are going to be as of now. But I do know that some other cities in the county have proposed an increase in their millage rate, and we will be proposing the decrease. Yes, sir.
I knew Canton has.
Yes, sir.
I wonder why, I mean, you know, this is just a question in general, why they expect the city to go ahead and vote on our millage rate when we don't even know what theirs is gonna be and what effect, that will affect our city's taxes.
This basically is to keep us almost at status quo as what it was last year, with a little bit of a rollback for our citizens currently.
Well, no, I'm just saying, you know, because when everyone gets their notices, and they're gonna see an increase, and it's not gonna be the city's increase, it's gonna be the county's.
Yes.
But I still feel like it's not right for the city to have to decide on our millage rate, when we know that the county's gonna be going up on theirs, and it's gonna affect all of us. And that's just my 2 cents worth.
Any more discussion? Okay. Put that on the agenda. Item D, discuss possible CDBG grant. Palmer.
Yes, sir. So we have submitted a application for a CDBG grant. We are requesting $326,250 from the county, with a 25% match of our own at $108,750 from SPLOST contributions, to build a 2,200 square foot addition to the current senior center. This addition will be utilized for senior activities during the week and a community space on the weekends, creating an indoor space that can be utilized for birthday parties, baby showers, and more. Grant program has become more and more competitive each year. It's contingent on underserved communities, and Cherokee County is becoming more affluent each year. So the entire program looks to divide up their entire program is only $1 million. And so we are requesting $326,000 of that $1 million for this expansion. Hopefully we'll get it, but we do need approval from council to submit the application. We had to submit it already to meet a deadline, so it has already been submitted. However, if it doesn't get approved by council, we can always remove our application.
Have you chatted with anybody at the county?
Ashley's actually been doing great. She's gone to a couple of different of the CDBG programs that you have to, or mandatory attendance. Ashley went and spoke with them about this program and what we were moving towards and applying for.
Feedback, was it positive?
They're all very polite and kind. I mean, I was in a room with a lot of people who do a lot of nonprofit work. We were one of 2 cities for the county that were there, but there were 2 different meetings. When I was in Woodstock was present as well. It is every year less and less money. So a few years ago they gave away $2 million. We're all the way down to they're hopeful that they'll get $1 million this year. There's no guarantee, that's their estimate. For the facilities portion of it, there's actually only a $650,000. So we're requesting a facility. So there's facilities, programs, and administrative. There's 3 different categories.
But you
We're-
didn't get a feeling one way or another?
No, they don't give us a lot. It could be a no, but it'd be lovely if it was a yes, is kind of how we're going into it.
Is this a 100% funding, or is it a matching grant?
We're doing 25% of it. So the
Oh,
requirement is
okay.
25% from us.
Okay.
I've been positive on wanting to do an expansion of the senior center. Keeping the current senior center in there, would we be able to keep that, the newer area, the seniors can use it, but if somebody wanted to schedule a meeting, like we did our retreat, how we did it,
Yes.
maybe Onyx wants to come over there and can we do that during the week? So I guess I'm trying to get it where it's that side now is not solely all senior center, in case there is an event that wants to come in during the week.
We could definitely look into that. We'd have to work with the senior services because this is from Cherokee County. We would work with them on their scheduling.
When it was originally built, there was, there was like an 8 or 10 year mark before it could be utilized for other things rather than just senior
Okay.
services. And would that fall under the same?
No, because I submitted the grant with the stipulation that it would be this portion, the 2,200 square foot, could be utilized for community events.
Okay, so we wouldn't have that wait period because, yeah, last time it was like 8 or 10 years before it could be
Interesting.
rented out,
Okay.
so.
And
And we would work with the senior services from the county to understand their schedule and know when we could rent it out.
Because the next closest one is on like Unibetter, isn't it?
It's very close to my house on Univetter. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what, so,
Did they put one at Veterans? At the bus?
I don't believe it's a senior center there. No, sir.
Any more discussion?
So who makes the determination whether this is granted?
They have a committee of people that will sit down and dissect
a
everything.
review committee.
Anything else? Okay, we'll add that. Item E, discuss GDOT State Highway System revision. Is this the south?
Yes, sir. This is for the bypass.
Okay.
So we've received this request from GDOT and Cherokee County for the future truck bypass and realignment of State Route 372. I've spoken with the county and GDOT on, both of them have told me that this is more of a formality than anything to make sure that this is on record with the state's highway system revision. We do need a vote of council to approve this state highway system revision so that the mayor can sign it and we can disseminate the document back to Cherokee County. This is on the docket for Cherokee County to hear it at the Board of Commission meeting next Tuesday as well.
Next Tuesday.
Yes, sir. They're meeting on Tuesday the 7th. And once they sign it after their meeting on Tuesday the 7th, they will provide us the document before the meeting on Thursday, and
Okay.
we will have you sign it.
Discussion. Okay. That is a short agenda, so we are now down to staff reports. Chief?
Yes, good evening. Next slide, please, Palmer. We did have some calls for service. I highlighted the top three. We did have aggravated assault, which we usually don't see a lot of. It was domestic related, in which an individual, a female, was allegedly pushed. The husband found out about it, came home, and confronted the person that allegedly did it. They got into an argument. The gentleman decided to pull what he wanted the other person to believe was a handgun. It was a BB gun. And fight ensued over the BB gun, thinking it was a handgun. And at which time, the male husband that came home struck the other individual in the head, commonly known as pistol whipped him, and caused EMS to come out, blood, hospital. So that individual went to jail for aggravated assault. Again, isolated, not stranger to stranger. Not that that's any better, but it makes me feel a little bit better that we don't have people from outside the community coming in and committing those kind of crimes. The second one, and I'm gonna get with Ashley and put something out, we're seeing more and more identity and fraud. This was a very elaborate scheme. It was an individual who did some online ordering from Walmart. After she did that, her card got compromised. The people that are overseas that are doing these crimes are very good at that. They got the information. They made, I think it was almost $10,000 worth of purchases before she was even caught. So, again, we all love our tech savvy devices, but we have to be very, very careful. The county right now is dealing with a situation where as soon as someone's arrested, they have what's called a VINE system, a victim notification system. People are paying, you could pay $4.95 to get all the information on me, you, and everything. What these scammers are now doing, it's called AccuRent. They go to a website, they pay $4.95 for my information. What do? They get next of kin, they get relatives, they get names and phone numbers. They then get on the phone with you and say, I'm calling in reference to your child that was arrested. The person on the phone believes it because they know their child or person is in jail. I need to go ahead and set up a payment or a fee to go ahead and put the ankle monitor on. Sound very believable. It's happened over there several times to the point where when you get arrested, there's a poster that says, tell your family or friends, do not pay anybody over the phone to get you out of jail. And it's gotten that bad to where they're warning the criminals when they get there, hey, tell your family not to pay anybody. So it's a very elaborate scheme, but I want to get with Ashley, and we have a lot of people that if they heard their grandchild or if they heard one of their family was in trouble, they're going to pay. And the heart's in the right place, and these scammers know it, and they take advantage. Next thing you know, you're out. The last person was out $5,200. $5,200. So I want to get with Ashley and get that put out in the community. And then, I'm not sure if you guys knew about this, we had a out-of-state suspect with no ties to the community coming through Ball Ground in a stolen truck, with several, bags of methamphetamine. He was stopped. He was also a convicted felon, armed with a handgun. So we were able to take him off the streets with the weapon. And more importantly, we were able to get back $20,000 worth of property to victims who did not even know they had been burglarized yet. Because he started in, I think it was Catoosa County, and then went through Whitfield and came down to us, and that's where we picked him up. And honestly, it came in as a stolen truck through Flock. We were able to pick up on Flock, waited till we could stop him in a safe place, and then executed the stop and the arrest and found all this. He has a very extensive criminal history, so it was touch and go for a little bit because he didn't want to go back to jail. We were able to calm the situation rather quick with enough people there, took him into custody, got people their property back, so very happy with that. And then finally, yeah, there you go. There's a loaded weapon, there's the methamphetamines, and he was robbing basically your everyday worker, people that own their own businesses, that had saws, that had tile saws. You start buying some of these saws, they're up to $8,000, $9,000 a saw. So they were extremely happy with us when we were getting their drills back, and because they can't work without that stuff. So not only are they out their product, they can't go to work the next day because they don't have the tools. So we were very happy to get that stuff back, and it emptied our evidence room out so we don't have to store it here. So it was good. And then finally, you may have seen this on the news. Fox 5 ran it. I know Channel 2 ran it. Follow up. I don't like talking about final, disposition on cases until the DA has put something out. We had a gentleman who's a local resident between us and Pickens County. It was an evening where it was a little bit colder out there, and the officer saw him just standing there at the connector, sitting on the guardrail, knew something was up, didn't feel comfortable just leaving him there. He determined the guy had active arrest warrants. He went to go execute the warrant, and the gentleman became, he started to resist and uncooperative. They finally got him handcuffed, and they removed a .22 caliber loaded pistol out of his pocket, and he wouldn't get his hands out of his pocket. So it was a very tense situation. He was a convicted felon. He told the officer right before the officer turned around and saw him that he ingested a large amount of fentanyl. You guys know what fentanyl does to people. So the officers immediately started watching him. He started to go into distress. They gave him 2 rounds of Narcan. 2 rounds, which anytime you get more than one, that's a pretty high dose. 2 rounds of Narcan. EMS got there. Literally, I know it sounds bad, they saved his life and now he's in prison. However, he's breathing. Again, they acted quickly, did what they needed to do, got drugs off the street, kept it from our community, took a convicted felon with a pistol off the street. It's unfortunate this guy's doing 10 years. He's got 30 years, the first 10 to be served in prison. Maybe he can get some help in there, but he's not gonna hurt himself or anybody out here for hopefully at least 10 years. Officers did a great job, very happy. We were able to de-escalate, make an arrest, and provide, and you don't see that often, provide life-saving measures all in one call. And, you want to see an officer's blood level strike up and down. I mean, these are situations where you're thinking like that. Watch the body cam. Again, that's why I love body cams. Everything that they saw, I got to see, but I got to see it in the quarterback version where I can critique it or this. And honestly, I walked out and said, guys, there's nothing else more you could have done. I mean, this guy's lucky to be alive. It's unfortunate where he's going to be spending some time, but he's alive. And you don't see that on cases. The DA, she wanted that to get out to the news media because, yes, we do unfortunately have to take people into custody. However, cases like this, where we show compassion and we show, going beyond by saving somebody's life and still being able to administer justice, you don't see it very often. And I think, do we have anything else? Is that it? That was it. Was a good month. A lot of warnings. People are slowing down, which is good. Some of it's construction, but I think some people are seeing the cars more often and spending some time with some kids. So it's been a good month.
Do you have any programs that you're teaching at the senior center on identity theft?
We've been over there. I think Lieutenant Young went my first 6 months here. He went over there and spoke with them. So I know that we've done that once. It's been a while, so I definitely want to do that again. But I also want these business owners to hear and to see this. We want to do a social media blitz with it, because we've had an influx of new people, obviously, older people, and they're very good, and we want them just to stop what they're doing. There's nothing wrong with taking a phone number down, or let me get back to you, and call us. I know it sounds, people don't wanna tie us up or tie 911 up, but it's okay. I'd much rather that than somebody be out life savings and these scams are so elaborate. And just to be blunt and honest, we're not gonna be able to catch the individual. We want to, but by the time it's happened, there are 3, 4, 5 people through that, and we don't have the resources to go to, overseas, to go to some of these places. And the FBI, it's not as high on their list, so, it's very, very few times, sometimes a bank can stop it, but very few times, once it happens, it's run its course, and I hate telling somebody, I'm sorry, we can't do anything, but it's just blunt honesty, we can't. So they're getting very elaborate.
Well, do you think that there's I'm sorry, Scott, do you think there's a way you could do like a public service for, and work it out with the senior center?
Yeah.
Where you can, let that know that you're gonna be doing a class or
We'll
something?
make it happen. Yep, make it happen.
In my former line of work, we had money services, and that was unbelievable to see what, the one that stood up most was an older gentleman came in, and they contacted him at his house, said his son was in jail in the Philippines, and they had him for up to $10,000, because he kept coming back in, and after about the third time in high amounts, you could question, and he was doing Western Union.
Hey,
sent him over.
we've actually, there have been classes given to bank tellers and a lot of your big banks, that if people come in and start, especially your regular customers, and they start taking out large amounts of money, especially the older folks, your older customers, ask them, you guys going on a trip? Creates a conversation, hopefully they will tell you, and we can stop them before the money. We might not catch the person, but we've at least prevented them from, losing their savings or losing any bit of money. So we've done some work with some of the banks and lending institutions, and we've got no problem. We've been to the senior center before. We'd be happy to go back and do it maybe every quarter, just to do a refresher. Again, my grandson, if I got that call, I know what I would do. And I'm not thinking about that little birdie in the back of my head, because I heard it a year ago. I'm thinking, what do I need to do to get him out?
Well, plus every quarter there may be a new scam.
Yes. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Bush?
Mine's not as exciting as Chief G's, but so we're going to start with my clerk certification, which is 101 hours. I wanted to put a little fun fact in there. For anyone to hold the title of clerk, you have to complete and attend a course of training pertaining to your job duty. That is state law in Georgia. I was appointed in January of 25. I attended my mandated, which was 15 hours, it was a long time, in February of 25. I'll be taking my last class towards my certification this September, and then I will graduate in February of 27. I've talked to a lot of clerks. Normally this certification takes about 3.5 years. I was able to knock it out. Luckily, we have a really good budget to where I'm able to travel and take these classes, and it's been very eye-opening. A lot of things I'd never noticed, but it's been pretty fun. I'm really excited to get this certification. This is actually what it will be looking like. I am excited to have it in my office. Thank you. Open records requests. From January to June, we have received 35 open records requests. The time spent on fulfilling those is about 80 hours of staff time. That is redacting, getting all the information together, letting legal look at things, to make sure that it's okay and ready. We're not missing anything that needs to be redacted. Between myself, Donna, especially with Donna, I feel horrible for her because she's got all the money, so they want all of her documents. So she has to go through a lot of paperwork to find, especially with us doing a lot of stuff paper. She has to go through a lot of back fiscal years and to produce these documents. Unfortunately, when it comes to open records, the city, we don't make money off of them. So far we've made about $16 in copies, which doesn't even equal to the amount of time that we've spent to fulfill them.
Question on that.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought we could charge an hourly rate on the open records requests?
We can.
I mean, 'cause that's a lot of manpower going into something that
Well,
is
it's also taking
ultimately
away from your job.
Correct. So a lot of people, so I believe it's the first 15 minutes is free for the requester. I do go a little bit further, and I always let them know if it goes past that 15. I let them know, hey, we've already passed that 15. Would you like an estimate? Then we provide an estimate. Half the time when they realize that that estimate's very high, they reduce what they're asking for. And it's normally, substantially, it's the things that were within that 15 minutes. They cut their search almost by half. And then a lot of times, people don't come and pick them up. So that's the other sad part, is they have these requests. We don't require prepayment. So then we're just sitting on them. I actually had one.
I mean, that's a question, why not have a prepayment requirement if you're gonna be putting in 80 hours,
Yeah.
for nothing, and they don't pick up, we'll just say 80 hours. But if you're putting in 8 hours of
Mhm.
open record request, and they end up not being picked up, why not charge them in advance? You've taken that much time away from your normal paying job that we pay for, as far as all the tax dollars, for something that they're not gonna pay that, that doesn't make any sense.
I don't believe the law will allow that.
It's the law. Unfortunately, we have to offer them, but we don't have to require them to pay it. If they decide, I don't want to do it, so we don't actually start the work until they let us know, hey, yes, please continue. I will pay X amount of dollars. If they say they don't want to, they say, actually, I withdraw my request. We don't actually start the work. We'll do about 15 minutes worth, because sometimes we can find some of the documents they want within those 15 minutes.
Well, I do believe that people should have access to open records.
Absolutely.
That's because that's our job.
Correct.
That for us to be transparent and to be able to have that. But I guess it's the time that you guys at City Hall have to spend on getting these open records that sometimes is out the window. That's,
Absolutely.
what do you do? What do you do?
So what do other municipalities do in this case?
A lot of them, I will be honest, a lot of bigger cities, people will pay the dollar. They'll pay the money for them if it's records they really want. A lot of ours, it's just our accounts payables. It's a lot of like commercial businesses that just want to know how much.
Right.
So when they realize how expensive, they're like, okay, it's really not worth it.
Do you tell them upfront, say, hey, the first 15 minutes is free?
We do, yes.
Then it's gonna be this?
I have a standard response when I first receive a request that kind of just states first 15 minutes are free. After that, I will send you a estimate on how much it will cost to fulfill this record before any work is done. And then I always let them know that it's 10 cents per copy, so it's not very much per copy. Half the time they'll say, okay, once we get an estimate, they're just like, actually, never mind, we'll pass, or they just don't respond. So a lot of times I don't get a response back. But sometimes the bigger ones that we have done, like that we've made some money off of, it's a lot of times they'll come in to review them, but they can take pictures with their phones, so they don't have to pay for the copies since they took pictures. So unfortunately, it really doesn't work in our favor, but we still have to complete the work to be transparent. I will say that I've gotten compliments that we are probably one of the easiest cities to get records from, because a lot of times we already have it, and we have it available. A lot of our stuff is on our Facebook, it's on our website, so they really don't have to ask, but like our accounts payables, how much we've taken in from like rentals, that's not on our website. So luckily, Donna is very organized, so she's able to find a lot of these documents quickly. But it's just the ones that a lot of people don't realize that they do take a long time,
Well, it is
taking away from our everyday jobs.
right, and it is like the research companies that want to get.
Correct.
They
Correct.
wanna get the data,
Yes.
And everything. So, to me, it just seems like there should be some type of way where you could get not make money, but at
Correct.
least get paid for your time that you're spending on getting a research company that doesn't
Correct.
even live in a county.
Correct.
You know, for something that you're taking away from your job.
Yes.
Yes, sir, but you have to charge for copies. Is that the
It's
standard?
10 cents. That's
It's a
law.
requirement.
It's a requirement.
The PD, we charge. Because
Yeah.
we're buying thumb drives. It's
Y'all
a
are
little
different.
You want us to, we have to sit there and we have to redact any juveniles, all this information, so it's very time consuming. So I will
Yes.
tell you, we will tell you upfront what it's gonna cost. But she's absolutely right. You have to let these people look at the records, they can take their phone, and I just went through, and I'll share my PowerPoint with Caleb, just went through a GBI class in May. They basically told us, give them everything, cause they're gonna get it.
Correct.
And everybody used to hide behind, it's an open investigation, doesn't matter. You can redact, basically, you're gonna give these people what they want, you know, and there's no skirt around it. And the people that do skirt around it, they pay heavy penalties.
Well, if it's an open investigation, you don't have to release anything yet.
You have to release the bare minute, the 911 stuff is all you really have to release.
Right.
But you also have to do something on that, every 30 days, you have to show that you're being active in that open investigation. It can't be prolonged for 2 years or 3 years. So, you know, they've come down really hard on agencies and departments that are withholding information just because it may not be in the best light of the interest of that agency or because it's somebody they know is involved. So they've come down to where open records, the lady that teaches it for the entire state and handles it like for GSP and the GBI, she's like, look, we pretty much, they make them be very specific in what they ask for. But she's like, we have to give it to them. It's the law. And she's like, but a lot of people are circumventing the cost now. They'll come in with a phone and they'll use their 15 minutes. They'll do nothing but take photos and then go back and do the legwork on themselves. Which, okay, but she's right. You can, I mean, they do give you a formula. It's that person's salary, the lowest person's salary.
Qualified
Yeah,
for the
so
job.
it's all in there. It's a little bit different, I think, for us than it is for her.
Correct.
Where you're pressing a control pre key maybe on this side where we're having to dig through and doing some other things.
Absolutely.
So, I missed it, Kendall, what are the other cities doing with open records as far as like, I know you're charging for the cost of copies, you know, and stuff, which that's should be. But what are the other cities doing as far as the time-wise, that time that the clerks or the accounting people or whoever is having to spend in order to compile open records? What are they doing as far as actual taken away from their normal duties? Are they?
So a lot of cities have an open records department where they solely do open records. Unfortunately for us in a position where we're a little bit smaller, we all wear many hats. So I got voluntold that I do open records.
Well, the cities that do have departments for open records, do they charge, do they not charge, you know, what do they?
So it's state law. So there are certain guidelines. So over a certain amount, you can require payment up front, but if it's not above, I think is it $500, Corey?
500.
So over $500, we can require prepayment. But if it's below that, we can go ahead and let them know that that's how much it will cost. And then we have to ask them, do you want us to continue?
I see.
Now, I've had somebody where they say, yes, I will pay the $360. And I said, okay. I had Miss Donna complete the work. They never showed up. They never returned an email. So I'm still holding on to those records. Maybe they'll decide to come in and,
You can't charge them in advance. After you told them the amount.
I believe it's over $500. That's when I can require I can require payment. But if it's below that $500 amount, we're kind of, we're stuck, unfortunately.
If somebody's done that they, whoever this person is, and the bill was $360, they never showed up. Say 6 months down the road, they do another open records request.
I believe we can actually, at that point, we can let them know you have an open records request still open that you have not fulfilled your payment for.
Pay for that one first before we would proceed with the next open records request.
Correct.
Okay, so it gives you something done,
Yes.
you know.
Hopefully they'll come back around. I'm hopeful, maybe. Get a little money in our pocket. But unfortunately, when it comes to open records, It's not for us to make the money. It's really not. Unfortunately, it's our time. And I don't think a lot of people realize that it does take somebody away from their daily position to find those records, to redact. The redactions will take forever because there's so much information, especially on large ones. So they don't work in our favor. To me, I almost refer to open records as squatter laws. They don't benefit us, benefits the people, which is rightfully so. But like I said, we do make it a lot easier than some municipalities. We are very open. Pretty much everybody can come through our doors and ask us a question, and we're pretty much will answer it. But I just wanted to kind of shine that just because I don't think a lot of people realize how much time goes into an open records request. Just today, I've received 3. Today alone. I've fulfilled 1, but the other 2, we're still getting all the documents together. Hopefully we'll get them knocked out by Monday, so, since we're closed tomorrow.
What do the open records requests usually, what are they looking for?
It can range from building permits, what permits were pulled. A lot of it's accounts payables, wanting to know what vendors we paid, how much we paid them, how much money we received from any of our field rentals. And a lot of this is like commercial companies who are just wanting data. It's a lot of these data people who are just wanting our salaries so they can put them on the websites so people can look up every employee's salary. Donna gets one every year wanting our salaries so that they can update their website. So it just kind of ranges. Sometimes it's, people wanting to know emails between certain people. Have y'all discussed this? But a lot of it, most of the time, is accounts payables.
And then I find it really strange that, those type of companies that are compiling the data charge the individual
Correct.
in order to get that data.
Correct.
That you have just provided for them for free.
Correct.
I got one today, and it's asking for certified copies of all documents related to any incidents involving John Doe, but not limited to any motor vehicle accident reports, incident reports, arrest reports, violations, citations, warrants, dispositions, statements, video footage, dash camera footage, body cam footage, photographs, audio recordings,
All of
and
it.
dispatch records. And if they could, they'd ask for your firstborn child. So those are that right there. And you're expected to do that within 3 days and give them all. It's just not.
And then they're gonna turn around and charge people in order to get that information.
So you have to decipher through all this. So I think we've got it a little bit easier because we can tell them what it's gonna cost, and that, no thank you, just give us a copy of the report.
Yeah,
please.
y'all are lucky.
She's got a little bit more to do.
You don't have to do it, have it completed in 3 days.
No, just
You have to-
accept it.
Yeah.
Yep. You have to acknowledge receipt of
'Cause
it
it may
within 3
take
days.
longer.
Yes.
In between going out on calls and stuff like that. So she and I share the same frustrations with it.
Yeah, I sent
and
you that one.
Yeah, we're stuck with it, so we just work together on it and do what we can.
Our next thing is election prepping. We are in election mode. I have gotten our qualifying packets made and they are ready to be picked up. The notice of our election and qualifying ads have been made. I will publish those in the paper the last week of July. Qualifying begins Monday, August 17th at 9 a.m. and ends on Wednesday, August 19th at 4:30. And our election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. This will be my second election, so I feel a little bit more prepared this year than compared to last year.
You did great last year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Moving in to one of my other hats that I wear is our occupation tax certificates, also known as a business license. We'll have renewals the first of 2027. Currently, I have issued 288 business licenses. 43 of those are home-based businesses. And we have a total of 877 employees in our city limits. That's including our home-based businesses. Revenue collected on our occupation tax is $23,776. Not too much, but it's a little bit. It's something I do. I'm very passionate about our business licensing. It's something that we're seeing a lot more people reaching out to us wanting to come to Ball Ground. A lot of home-based businesses. A lot of people want to work from their townhomes, I've noticed. That's just a little bit of what we've collected that we don't really realize how many businesses we have in Ball Ground. And a fun fact, 25 of them are hairstylists. We have 25 hairstylists compared to our gas stations that we have a lot of. You can go to that.
Largest employer, some of the larger employers.
Our largest employer is UAC. They have about 109 employees, I believe. And then when it comes to one of our smaller businesses, our highest employer is Parlor in Maine, because she's got about 30 stylists. I feel like people 25, but she has a lot of stylists. But UAC is our highest employer at the moment, and they are about to expand, so they're only going to get more, which
Do you
More
guys
money.
see the cranes and the American flag they have across them? You can see it from Ballground Highway. I said, that's so cool. It's a big
Oh, I didn't see
American
that.
flag. And the hook to the two cranes on each side. Beautiful.
Oh, that's cool. We should get a picture. Just some updates when it comes to our applications. We have decided, after listening to our business owners, they don't check their mail. They prefer an email. So we have reduced our paper and postage consumption by emailing our renewals to our business owners. Applications are now made online and can be filled out online and emailed to us. So business owners, where it's just themselves, don't have to take time to come to City Hall, fill out an application. They can stay at the business and just email me. Our turnaround time is about 3 days now compared to before, where it was about a week and a half. So I'm pretty proud of that one. I like our turnaround times being quick. And then when it comes to our renewals, we've now made it to the point where they can walk out same day. They can email us and we email them their renewal certificate, which was again highly requested by our business owners. They're like, we really don't want to make a stop down to City Hall, and I'm like, I got you. And their business hours are during our business hours, so it just never really worked out. Next slide. This is kind of an image of what our occupation tax looks like. We have, in 2025, licensing staff, which was myself and Michelle at the time, we did not know how to properly use our computer system because the people before us were already gone. So they who were taught how to use it weren't here to teach us how to use it. So we had to call Assist and have them walk us through how to properly put in a business license in our computer system. We didn't even know that it would actually generate one. We were manually making them on Word document. We're not doing that anymore. It's printing it for us. So our staff in 2025 got training, so now we are fully up to date. Our front desk know how to do a business license from start to finish in our new computer, or in our system, to where it's quicker for our business owners, and we are able to track it better on our computer system we already pay for. 2 conferences are offered a year by the Georgia Association of Business, which I spelled wrong, Business Tax Officials, also known as GABTO. That is a conference that talks a lot on alcohol licensing and business licensing, so it's 2 in 1 for me. It keeps us up to date on any laws that have changed with alcohol, and also with our business licensing on if there are new state requirements required for like massage parlors or hair salon where they have to have their state license. So they keep us up to date on any laws that change. I do attend twice a year just because you never know what's going to change within the next time you go. I'm pretty excited for Miss Sydney, who joined us last year. She will be attending, as I am hopeful that she will start taking over the occupation tax, because she has done an excellent job at processing them, and she is wanting to know more about it. So she will be attending her first training at GABTO this fall. Now we're going to move right into alcohol licensing. Our renewals are December 31st of 26. I currently have 18 alcohol licenses issued. 7 of those are restaurants, 4 are convenience stores. We have 2 package stores, which hold 2 licenses and pay 2 license fees, one for a beer and wine package sales and one for distilled spirits package sales. We have 1 brewery, our farm winery license, which our brewery holds. We have 1 winery, and I have 2 pending applications, which are currently the ALMA. They are still working with the Department of Revenue. getting some things finalized, and then another restaurant that is wanting to come in at Holcomb's Crossing. These are both internal transfers, so these locations have already been approved by mayor and council to obtain an alcohol license. We're just getting ready for them to go through the Department of Revenue to get their state license. How much revenue we have generated from our 3% excise tax is about $6,000, or well, $6,800. And then our revenue collected just from alcohol licensing and fees is $44,512. Again, this will go up as we get more restaurants in here. This does not include some of the vacant buildings on Gilmer Ferry. So hopefully come next year, we'll have some more restaurants that will obtain alcohol licenses. And same thing with our 3% excise tax. As we get more businesses that sell the distilled spirits, we will generate more revenue because that is a monthly charge that they come to Miss Donna and calculate all the numbers for. So we're growing, and we are getting more restaurants and more licensing, as we can see that we have 288 businesses, and it's only going to get bigger. I think that is the end of mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Back to you, Palmer.
Yes, sir. So I'm going to put on my community development director hat just for old time's sake. I did decide to shrink this portion of my presentation this evening because I will be doing the city manager's report as well. And we only had 3 new building permits within this month. So not many changes. You can see Malone's Pond has 1 new home being built in there, and Marble Tree has 2 for the month of June. Currently, we have 642 approved units, and 143 of those have been permitted. A couple other fun updates. Next Monday, our new community development director, his name's Logan Witter, will be starting with the city. Logan is coming to us from the city of Sugar Hill over in Gwinnett County, and he has a master's degree in city and regional planning from Clemson University. I also recently met with our GIS team, and they informed me that the sidewalk gap analysis has been completed. We're going to work to create a dashboard for internal use and external use, and it'll also help our public works team in the future when we start doing some data collection to understand the quality of our sidewalks and what areas we need to focus on repairing the most. We can track that through this mapping dashboard that they are going to create for us. Ballground Brook Townhome Development, they have just they're just south of the roundabout. They have submitted a final plat. We have reviewed it, requested a couple of small revisions for it, waiting on that to come back now. But I would believe probably next week we will get that one, and it'll be stamped for approval. And afterwards, they'll be pulling permits and going vertical with their development down there. Now for the city manager's report, again, we have 3 permits. Yeah, change my hat. We got 3 permits pulled for the month of June, but that actually puts us on par at exactly 28 permits pulled for 2026 at the same rate we were last year in 2025. So we are at 28 this year and 28 last year, but I believe that number is going to increase, especially with Ballground Brook coming online, Pulte still developing, and others that are coming online as well. So moving on to some of our capital projects. The first one, if I can get the slide to pull up. First one's going to be our new downtown parking lot. For the past few weeks, our contractors have been working on the new parking lot behind Parlor and Main. There were a few bad spots that were filled in with coal when they started doing some work on the property. In the bottom right picture, you can see that some of the holes on the property had been filled in long time past with some coal in the area. However, during the fireworks and concert this past weekend, the new parking lot was full of cars. The contractor told me that's only beneficial because it helps compact the gravel base down so that cars can make a smoother surface for paving. Currently, we are slated for paving to begin next week. Johnston Paving usually takes the entire week off of the 4th of July, so they were not able to get to our paving this week. But I spoke with the contractor. We're slated for the first part of next week to begin the paving in that area.
Are we in the parking lot there where it's part of Parlor on Main, that first house right past the are they gonna do a fencing there? The black aluminum fencing to separate that? Cause they have
between,
I don't have a problem with, they have their no trespassing signs, because I see people,
mm,
and I thought maybe a fencing up there. I was thinking we could have refurbished that old fence that they took down, but we probably couldn't have done that, right?
so one of the stipulations that they had requested in our lease agreement was that we would put on Mound Street the black fencing that we have on the frontage of the property. So we are going to match that on that side to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing along Mound Street. And we are going to replace the fence that's in between the two lots. That was also at a request for them. However, it will have a walking gate between the two, so people can walk between parking lots.
So there's still gonna be between the two lots.
Between the two lots, there's still going to be a fence between the two.
Black aluminum
Yes, ma'am.
But-
Oh, it's going to be the black chain link fencing like what was there previously, but new.
Right, but the, part where, you know, where, I can't remember, it's called Parlor on Main also.
Third on 9 is the parlor in Maine, the White House.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we gonna do any sort of a fencing there at that?
I will
end?
double check with the contractor on that. I was out of town when they started this, and I noticed the other day that they had taken that fence down in the process. So I'll double check with him and see what he says.
Did that lease, they could come to a compromise so that middle fence kind of mesh the two parking lots together?
Yes, sir. They are separate lease agreements. I'm hoping that in 5 years, when we revisit this lease again, that we will be able to discuss it with them of removing that fence. But they did want to keep them separate because they are two separate leases in how they're phrased currently. But they did agree to the walking gate so that you'll be able to walk between the two, just no cars driving between the two. So with the build grant, just an update with this. We're still awaiting notice of funding for the $25 million that the county and GDOT had applied for the Bog Ground bypass. This announcement was supposed to be made on June 28th, this past Sunday, but as of today, we haven't heard anything. Right before we came in here, I had actually been speaking with my contact at the county, who is starting to see a few build grant notifications going out. So instead of a large announcement at one time, I think they're doing a small announcement as they come online. So we're keeping a very close eye on it. That Sunday, the 28th, I was sitting there with my phone, refreshing it about every 20 minutes, just trying to see if I had gotten a notification that we were going to be getting the funding. But as soon as we hear, we will definitely let you all know. Moving on to Parks and Recreation. On Tuesday, our contractors began work to replace the light poles at Lions Field. The contractors had the light pole replacement parts delivered yesterday, and we closed off the parking lot just to make it safer for the people who are going in there. However, we have seen some people still going onto the field, even though the parking lot is full of new lighting equipment. So we actually went over there and locked the gates today just to make sure that people aren't in an active construction area. Spoke with the contractor as well. Depending on the weather, they're hoping that their work will be completed by the end of July.
I maintain the lounge there,
Okay.
and so it sounds like I shouldn't really go now.
I would give it some time. Yeah, it's, we can look into it for sure. Yes, we can look into that. Moving on also as well, the Calvin Farmer Park pickleball and basketball court renovations have begun. They started on Tuesday as well. We're going to be changing the tennis courts. There are going to be a total of 6 pickleball courts, and this process is expected to take 3 weeks as well, depending on the weather. Just a reminder, all of these projects were completed with the funds we received from the sale of the city gym, as well as impact fees that the city has collected. So there's been no charges to city taxpayers for this project besides the impact fees that had come in, and we just used the revenue from the sale of the gym to complete these much needed projects. Moving on for downtown, this past weekend was our annual 4th of July fireworks and concert at City Park. We've worked with Cherokee County's Office of Economic Development, and we estimate that there were roughly 12 to 13,000 people in town. Probably one of our biggest fireworks ever, if not our biggest fireworks ever. Their data also showed that most people stayed for over 2 hours for that time. And we've received several comments from some of our downtown businesses expressing that they were almost at record numbers for the evening. I've heard from multiple different businesses that they were very close, if not breaking records. I did also personally receive several great compliments from attendees as I was walking through town, and I was wearing my ball ground hat. I think people recognized who I was, and they would tell me, hey, we really appreciate these fireworks. This is a fantastic event, and we've been coming for years. So that made me feel really good. First person I talked to that night told me that they were very appreciative of the fireworks. So that made me feel great. I also want to take this time to share a big thank you to the staff that assisted with the fireworks show and concerts. They directed traffic, picked up trash, handed out glow sticks for kids to enjoy, and a lot of other unseen things that a lot of people don't realize what it takes to put on such a large event. I also want to thank Northside Cherokee. They sponsored the event for us and provided us with $3,000 to go towards the fireworks show. Here's a quick video showing the city's drone that we have in partnership with the police department. One of the officers flew the drone over the concert. You can see how large the crowd is, and this is right before the concert has even started, so it got busier as the night went on. But you can see how many people showed up. You can even see up in the woods on the end that there's a lot more people showing up, and it was very, very popular event. Water and sewer operations. This is probably where I'll deviate the most from Eric. I'm not going to go into the depths of water and sewer as he used to. We are getting lead and copper samples out this week. We've had the bottles, and we've given them to our public works team to pass out to the 10 participants for our lead and copper sample testing. Public Works has also been working through replacing some meters and repairing several leaks throughout the city for this past month. Just a quick reminder to everyone, in observance of Independence Day, Ball Ground City Hall is going to be closed July 3rd, tomorrow. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a thing that someone, one of our citizens brought up about potentially having a city mascot of a grandpa. So, yeah, I mean, they're everywhere.
The city groundhog, how about we have an eradication program? For those of us that have gardens that,
I think she wants to dress up as a grandma.
I actually had a groundhog in my backyard for the first time in the 8 years I've lived there last night. We're getting a lot over there in the Hickory Flat area.
Always stayed across the street, but I mean, I see multiple out every day. They've never ventured across the road.
They love Valley Street Park. That's one of their favorite things is going down Valley Street Park, that linear park. They are always down that road when I'm headed out.
Always on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll refrain comments. Against one of my neighbors for us tractor.
I did want to mention that the sign ordinance that we had just passed, committee talked about reconvening as for what the citizens had questions and confusion on some of the sentencing, so we want to get back together and kind of go through. I think we all kind of discussed might be about 3 areas that just need to be tweaked out, and possibly have that ready by August to get it sign off on that portion. I think that will answer a lot of the questions that we're getting all excited about. Hopefully clarification and some extra words in the sentences will, clarify.
Good. Anything else? Okay. We're adjourned. Thank you.